I sent you, though, unfortunately, I think I sent you just the regular invite. Because now you're only showing, you're not showing as a panelist. You're showing as an attendee. Promote to panelist, there we go. I just promoted you. And I made you a co-host. We're staying in here. We're staying in here. All right, you ready to go? Let me turn this off. Do you want to attempt to go on Instagram at the same time?
Yeah, sure. Let me set it up. Well, wait, the issue is we're going over a document.
Oh, yeah, never mind. Okay. Never mind. Okay. Live on Facebook.
That's always, yeah, that's always our challenge point. Alrighty. Excellent. Alrighty, ready when you are.
I'll let you know. Hold on. All right. All right, everybody. Happy Friday. It is Finance Friday. We are back. So Meghan Meihaus with Berkshire Hathaway. Hello. And I am with Brendan Delahook.
Yes, yes.
And Brendan, you're from Caliber Home Loans, right?
Correct.
Awesome. Okay. So we're back just to talk a few minutes about renting versus owning. And one of the things I wanted to talk about, just kind of on the real estate side, is what the benefits are of buying a home versus renting. So you'll talk more about the finances, but when you're renting a home versus owning your own, you don't really get to make the changes you'd like to have. Laminate countertops and you want to have some granite countertops, that's all in your pocket if you rent and you want to change it, and then the owner gets to keep the benefit. But if you own a home, then you can update your bathrooms, you can update the kitchen, you can update the flooring, you can paint the walls, you can make it your own. I know something else that's very important, and it would be important to me since I am a fairly new dog mom, but having pets, renting with especially large dogs or more than one dog is very challenging. You also have to find a place that has a yard. So if you own something that has a yard and you have your dog, you don't have any problem. You basically can let your dog roam around the yard and just you're gonna have your own privacy. So having a yard, having some space, having privacy, all good things. So Brendan, tell us what some of the benefits on the finance end are and what it looks like as far as building equity and wealth when buying a home instead of renting.
Sure thing. Well, usually the number one reason everybody comes to look at buying a place is, one, they probably want to customize it, have their own place that they have control over, but also it's about money. At some point, everybody wants to retire. Nobody wants to be poor and struggling through life. And real estate has always been a huge way for people to accomplish that. So some of the benefits on the financial end, when you're paying rent, you're looking at paying, if you're paying $2,000, just use an easy number. That's $24,000 per year that you are paying the landlord, and you get nothing out of that. When you pay for a mortgage and own a home, you are paying into the actual principal and paying down the loan, and the home is also appreciating. Some of the benefits of actually beyond the actual mortgage itself are you have appreciation. So the home value goes up on average every year. We in California over the past 10 years, we've seen about 4 to 4.5% per year average. Of course, it's not exact. It goes up and it goes down, but overall, that's kind of what averages out. And then also, when it comes to tax write-offs, a lot of people don't think about this. The number one way people get wealthy, and this is the millionaires and everybody that we look up to and hope to be like someday, they are avoiding taxes in a legal way. And the biggest way that they always avoid taxes, unless you own your own company and you got millions flowing through it, the majority of them are going to be avoiding taxes through all the tax write-offs that you get from owning real estate. So for example, last time I spoke to my CPA, they had told me we get to write off up to $10,000 per year off of the property taxes each year. And then on top of that, you get to take a tax write-off for all of the mortgage interest you pay up to $750,000 loan amount. So any interest you're paying on a loan that size or smaller in a year, you get to write off 100% of it. Now, each person's going to have an individual scenario as to what those exact numbers come out to. So I always advise them to talk to their CPA or tax professional because I don't read tax law every month. So, but in general, those are what my CPA taught me. And to give you an example, let's say both of those are $10,000 write-offs. So you have a $20,000 write-off at the end of the year. You make $100,000 in a year. You're paying taxes on $80,000 of that income. So you just got $20,000 for free that you put towards basically owning a home, paying down that mortgage, and also your money's growing because the equity in your home is getting bigger and bigger. So that's a huge thing that a lot of people don't realize when buying a place, just beyond the fact of wanting to have a home and have their own space.
Absolutely, absolutely. Should we give a specific example on a home amount and show people what that looks like?
Yeah. So I put together an example of a rent versus own for somebody looking to buy, and I think Meghan will go ahead and pull that up for share screen.
Actually, keep talking because I need to pull it up here.
Okay. So the other thing that a lot of people are doing right now, especially first-time home buyers, you only need 3% down if you're going to be doing a traditional program, and rates are at the lowest levels in history. So again, going back to all the financial wealth over time, you're going to save a lot more in the long run of by owning instead of renting. And rents go up every year in California, so it's no different than owning a place when it comes to those kind of tax benefits.
All right, so here we go.
Awesome. All righty. So if we're starting at the top, so this is a little rent versus own scenario that we put together. It's got some fun visuals for you guys. So $550 purchase price versus renting. So if you go ahead and take a look to the left, you can see the breakdown of buying versus renting. So if you put all the expenses together, you're basically looking at about a $3,000 a month payment versus, let's say, that you're paying $2,575 in rent. A lot of people don't remember that you pay renter's insurance in a lot of places. So I'd like to add that into there as well as part of the cost. You can see at the bottom of that chart is like some information. So I'm using 3.25 as an interest rate. Interest rate's going to depend upon your situation. And rates do go up and down based off of, it's just like the stock market is how I explain it. So they're never the same every day, but right now we're in the low threes. And then you can see annual rent increase. So the average annual rent increase in Orange County is about 4%. So let's go ahead and look at the bar chart to the right. You can see in the dark blue, that's your mortgage payment. And then in the purple is your actual rent. So over the course of a couple of years, people will say, well, you know, my owning a home is a lot more expensive monthly payment wise than it is to rent. But you can see at pretty much year 5, you're breaking even with what the monthly payment was for buying a home at that point. So it's not a matter of the payment never going up. It's just how long will it take before it exceeds what you could have bought a home for. And then if we go ahead and scroll down a little bit, I want to show you, so this is some differences in what it would look like to own a place. So the cash flow difference is basically referencing what's your mortgage payment versus your rent over the course of 10 years. So you can see over the course of 10 years, you're looking at basically a loss of $3,500 between the two. But what we're not taking into account is a few other very important things, such as the far left appreciation gain. So again, you can see starting home value was 3.5 or 550, and we have a 4.5% appreciation rate. So after 9 years, the home's going to be worth $817,000. So the home value going up, even if you didn't pay anything into the mortgage, like let's say you had interest only loan, $267,000 is what you have in equity. Then we go over an amortization gain. That's a reference to actually paying a typical mortgage where you're paying principal and interest every month. You have $107,000 paid down of that mortgage. And so you can see again, there's some numbers at the bottom. The other thing is the tax benefit. So again, you can see the tax benefits, over $16,000 in tax benefits based on this scenario. Again, you got to consult your CPA about your specific situation, but another huge savings. And then let's go to the bottom. This is a quick little bar chart that shows the net gain of buying a home. So this is taking into account the cost to sell the home, what you put in it originally, the closing costs, everything. So you can see in the bottom left, there's $9,000 for closing costs. There's a loss of that $3,000 for cash flow, and then the cost to sell is going to be about 40 grand at the time of sale. But if you put them all together, you're netting a positive 338,000. So again, this is why owning real estate is so beneficial, because you're pretty much you have to live in a home. You're already paying for a mortgage. You're just paying for your landlords if you're renting. So that's why people get so wealthy off of owning a home, and why it's a great, retirement plan as well, because, think about how much you could do and how much you could live off of over $338,000 of income, so to speak.
Absolutely. I
And
think
we
that
shouldn't forget that, again, you get to write off, or you get capital gains is usually something you have to pay taxes on. But when you own a home, the first $250,000 if you're single, and the first $500,000 if you're married, are not taxed. So that's another huge thing. Again, talk to the CPA about what you're doing specifically, how long you have to own the home and stuff. But that's again the general gist of how much you're saving. So yeah.
Absolutely. So as a married couple, based on circumstances, you more than likely could walk away with this $338,000 gain on your house, roll it into the purchase of a new one, so upgrade, or take it and buy a second property. If you wanted to buy another property that is going to be similar in price, if you wanted to downsize and take that money and retire, or whatever you want, travel, or whatever you want to do. So all in all, great. Well, Brendan, thank you so much. I think this is some really good hard and fast numbers for this example. And I know it is a little challenging in Orange County to find a house at 550, however, definitely a townhome. And this is scalable based on purchase price of a home and down payment and all of that. So if you want to speak with Brendan further about this, he can put together a plan for you based on what kind of home you're looking for. And the cost and all of that, so that you can get a really 10-year view on what you're going to be building in equity and wealth, and how you're going to be saving versus renting. So really good job, Brendan. I think it's really, really great, and gives some great basic information so people can understand.
Yeah, and if you want to scroll to the top, there's also all of our contact info at the top. So if you want to reach out to either of us, like Meghan was saying, ask questions, run simple scenarios, we can definitely do that. Both our numbers and emails are right there for you guys. And we can
Perfect. And you can always DM us. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can always send us a DM, and we'll be putting it, in other spots on social media. So you can always just send us a message and we'll get right back to you. So thanks, Brendan. Again, always good to see you and share information with folks. So if you need anything or have any questions, please reach out to us, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.